top lane duo most likely already. I'd love to see if Execration has something up their sleeve to potentially rotate Mars to mid and then mess with this Sven pick a bit. But you just have 2 stuns between the Hoodwink and the Sven. Very strong lane. And Sven's traditionally an enabler for the rest of his team. Yes, you are inevitably the carry, but like he can participate pretty early on in the game. And you're not meant to make space for the first like 20 minutes. All you need is other people to do it for you. So as long as you have a decent lane, and then the other 2 cores have much better games, Sven fits really nicely into that picture. I think giving him like the early game priority is not good.
The team enabling oftentimes comes from Warcry though.
Yeah.
Warcry is not very useful this game. Like we said, his magic damage from this AA, Mirana also, and Mars is physical, sure, and so that does reduce his kill potential with God's Rebuke, but Arena plus Spear is still going to be difficult for a Hoodwink to deal with. So I'm a little bit
a hater. I don't appreciate.
I am a hater of Sven. I haven't been big on Sven. In fact, during SEA and China DPC, Black was saying that Mag is just like a better Sven from a carry role, which isn't 100% accurate, but like a lot of the stuff that Mag provides is quick farming with Kyiv, which Sven does, except Mag's stun is BKB piercing, which is pretty nice.
But it's on a
much lower cooldown, that's
yeah.
for sure. And then Sven, I still feel has kiting issues. Now that the Scepter build isn't that popular, I think that a lot of slows that will be coming out from Execration, Spears pushing you back, you can't really kill Mirana, because she's just going to leap away.
And a hero I hate.
Let's hear it. Ursa?
Yeah, I hate this hero. I think it sucks.
Even with the Diffusal build?
Yeah, I've seen it work sometimes. I usually think it works off...
Didn't you say earlier that you were a big fan of...
I liked how Secret utilized the Brood to enable the Ursa.
Okay.
I was going to say that the hero, if enabled properly, to take Roche. I think this hero purely relies on getting Roche around like 15 minutes, like really early on. Turning that first... Getting like the Ag Shard Aegis at like 25 minutes for free. And then you hit this crazy timing where you have like Diffusal BKB and an Ag Shard and a Basher and kill everybody.
Do you think that Execration can try to use this Ursa to that end? Try to constantly get the Roche?
I just think the hero has a really weak laning stage, and I saw them pick it with AA yesterday. If I'm not mistaken, it did not work because AA doesn't make his laning partner stronger. He like plays off the strength of his laning partner. If that makes sense. Like if he has a strong laning partner, they will be strong together. But if his laning partner needs assistance, he doesn't do anything.
It's almost like a win more.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I don't like the AA Ursa anti-synergy that I'm kind of deeming that it is. Darkseer Clock, very high tempo. Like Sven Darkseer combo has been a classic. You vacuum into the Sven stun, super low cooldown to work with. I just think that Ursa's going to struggle to participate in mid-game fights, and because we're dealing with European Dota on the other side, and also just looking at the lineup, there are no cooldowns here. Like Sven, without God Strength, can absolutely participate based on the lineup that he's got around them right now. And then on the other hand, Ursa, like, he's just not the same. You don't have a stun. You don't have, like, you have to be hitting people point-blank range, and if you think about being melee range against Darkseer, Clockwork, Sven, and a Hoodwink in the back pelting you with slows and kites, it's like, it just looks so much easier on paper for Sven to do his job. And so if the Ursa's not able to get that early momentum, I think like I'll add an addendum to that, right? I think if he's not able to get that, he sucks. If he is, then he's fine, but I don't think he'll be able to do that this game.
Yeah, and early momentum would ideally come from the laning phase, and against the Darkseer, theoretically, the win more aspect of Ancient Apparition would be like, okay, I've got Ice Vortex slow, you've got your Earth Shock slow, people won't be able to get away with that. You have to deal with Surge, which means
nice Clockwork lane, man.
Yeah, exactly. Nice, I mean, Darkseer loves having these melee, like Nyx Assassins, Clockworks, just dump the Ion Shell on them and be like, great, what are you going to do about it? And that's going to be a big struggle for this safe lane duo of Execration with the AA and the Ursa.
Carl!
And Invoker gets picked up.
Is there a heavily favored lane matchup that they can pick mid for Execration? Or, like I said, do a little swip swap, put the Mars mid.
Puck and TA are banned out. Lesh is banned out. Death Prophet's still in the pool. 2 of the spirits are banned out, Void and Storm. So Ember's still in the pool, but Ember into Invoker's not great.
Yeah. They've actually covered their bases really well here because you want one of those mobile heroes. Yeah, I should have said it. I actually should have said it. You won't believe me now. Kunkka, I like a lot because it lanes well against Invoker. You lacked a bit of catch for the Darkseer Surge, as well as the Hoodwink. A lot of running away reliant escape, right? So the X is great against exactly that. My only concern is that you mentioned they had no physical damage against the Warcry. They literally have Kunkka, physical damage primarily. Ursa, physical damage. Mars, physical damage.
Yeah.
So I think that Team Secret, I think their lineup just functions with less. They don't need as many items, as many levels to do what they want to do.
Right out of the box assembled, and then on the side of Execration got the IKEA build, right? They need a lot of work to get it offline, but let's talk about what that's actually going to make the game look like. For Execration, how do they actually chart that path to victory in your mind, Tsunami?
I'm with Brian. You need to have this Ursa snowball early on, otherwise he's not going to be a threat to anyone, especially Invokers these days. I am not a big fan of this Witchblade build, and I think that it slows down Invokers big time, but it puts more late game insurance, and if Ursa's not able to snowball, and Invoker does not get punished for going a greedier build and goes Witchblade Midas, then I do think it'll be difficult, but I said it was going to be a draw. Secret's going to take game 1.
Yeah, Secret game 1.
Okay, well, it looks like both of our analysts are in agreement, but we've already seen Execration make some pretty impressive upsets. Let's see if they're going to be able to do it again in our first game of the day.
Thank you, panel. My name is SUNSfan. Joining me is my good friend Jenkins. How are you doing, Jenkins Dota?
Did it actually say Jenkins Dota?
No.
Oh, that would have been funny. But yeah, that's a reference to yesterday.
So it wasn't funny the way I did it?
No.
Okay, thank you.
That's okay. Yeah, ready for a great game here. I think, based on what the panel said, I think I agree with most of the stuff. I will say, I think I picked Secret to win this game 2-0 today. Not because Execration didn't impress me yesterday, they really did, but I was expecting Secret to come in with some improvements and having learned something from their series yesterday, and I think one of the things they really took away was that they need to have stronger teamfight and late game insurance. In this game they've got Darkseer Invoker and a Sven to scale with, so and in addition to that they have some pretty good targeted stuns way of starting fights. But I gotta say though, I love the way Execration played many of the games yesterday. I think the thing that really stood out for me was their spell casting. I think they're one of the best teams here at comboing spells, and they keep picking to their strengths. I love to see it. Kunkka is a catch, Mars is a setup, AA once again. They have Arrow to follow through on multiple things like Arena or X-Mark, and I love seeing when a team has a clear identity and an idea of how they should play and they really execute it. I guess the one limiting factor is maybe they're a little bit pigeonholed because of that, if they want to play like that every game. But if they execute like yesterday, they could definitely take this game.
Yeah, I mean, I was surprised to see that they only split all their games, because right now Execration has 3 ties, Secret has 2.
Yep.
I mean, to get top 2, I would think you need to go 2-0 against somebody.
Yeah, you need to.
You got to start racking up these wins in quick succession, or else you're going to be. I mean, it's only the top 2 that move on. So for a team, especially like Secret, with all these expectations, obviously we talked about they've already made it to TI, so maybe the pressure isn't on, but you need to stay in good form, and to do that, you know, you need to start winning. As we're going to see, Yowei is going to be playing the Kunkka mid, which I have been waiting to see. I've heard about a lot of different potential builds. I'm not sure if we're going to see anything crazy, but I think the off-lane Kunkka is what I've been hopefully what I've been hoping to see in this tournament, where you go for like the Torrent Storm and the Shard, and you go all these weird items that you're not used to seeing in a particular game. But I'm guessing this will be just more of a standard Kunkka build.
Yeah, you know, something I was hoping we would get to see, because I'm really impressed by that route. So to clarify, Kunkka with the new talents and the setup, the way that he can do it, he has a level 10 talent that gives him Torrent knockup/stun duration, and then he has a level 15 talent that gives him Torrent damage. And combined, those 2 talents makes every Torrent deal 500 damage, and then you get the Ags and get Torrent Storm. And on top of that, you can get the shards. You have like all this repositioning magic damage utility build, which I think can be really cool if your other heroes can carry. In this game, with a Mars offlane, like you said, it's more likely Kunkka will go for more of a right-click heavy build with something like maybe an Armlet, Daedalus, these kind of items that core Kunkkas will usually do historically to dish out the damage.
Well, he's dishing out a lot of damage right now against Nisha, who's already relatively low HP.
It's a great Kunkka matchup.
I mean, look at the CS right now. 7-4 versus 1-1 for Nisha. So, I mean, he's not Exort, obviously, so last hits will be a little bit more difficult to come by. Well, what are your thoughts on going the Quas Wex build this game for Invoker?
I think it's decent. If you were to go Exort, I think your lineup would be too slow and too greedy. You already have a Sven, he wants to farm Ancients, he wants to play jungle, and you want someone to pair with your other heroes that want to be active. Clockwork plays well with Invoker, in my opinion, when he goes Quas Wex. It's a great setup for EMP. He does a lot of damage with Cold Snap together with Battery Assault. It's a good hero for Hoodwink to play around. Like, basically all of Secret's heroes except Sven really just want to group up and find kills with Invoker. So, and in addition to that, EMP is amazing against non-int cores. And you have Mars, Kunkka, and Ursa. These heroes get EMP'd, that's all your mana gone. Like, their mana pools are like 500 or less on all 3 heroes when you get to that early mid-game stage, so it seems pretty solid. But yeah, he's getting absolutely annihilated in lane.
Yeah, it's not remotely close right now. I mean, look at the last hits in general. Right now, Execration's owning all 3 lanes. Even the Mars is having a great time. He's pretty much even with position 1. Yeah, Nisha gets hit by the... No, he will go Invis, so that'll save him. No sentry there for Yowie, but still, crushing this lane. In fact, getting something like that off where you have to walk back to base or wait for a salve to come sometimes just works out into your benefit if you're Kunkka. I mean, the thing about like the Quas Wex build, you have this regen, but against the Kunkka, he's doing tons of burst. So you could get this kill theoretically if you're Yowie.
Yeah, and not just that. It's not just the burst, it's also just, like, mathematically in the start, Quas cannot keep up with Tidebringer. It's just too much early on. When Invoker gets level 5, I think he stabilizes a lot more here. But this is definitely a Kunkka-favored lane, and Yowie is playing completely to his strengths. Like, he's doing exactly what you need to do. If you're playing Kunkka against Invoker, you ensure the CS, every single Tidebringer needs to connect on Invo, and he has to buy a salve, like you said. So not only is he behind by 10 CS here, but he's also expending gold into regen, whereas Kunkka can just buy all these stats with a double bracer into bottle build.
Oh man, double brace, that's like an, I'm gonna say old skill, that's like a year ago. People were getting this literally every game, and then they nerfed bracers. Haven't been seeing it as much as we're gonna see. RR, decided some cog action from Yapzor. I mean, Yapzor, how greedy can you be on a Clockwork? I mean, when I think of him, I don't think a Clockwork just because it's not really a greedy support.
Definitely not. The hero obviously does have farming potential globally with Rocket Flare. When you get levels in that, you can take some farm, and you can push waves and kill jungle camps with Battery Assault, but it's definitely not one of the best heroes to do it with, man. Nisha is just non-stop getting pressured here, which is...
I mean, if you're Secret, do you think they should make some sort of rotation? Oh, as we say that, I believe we do see somebody there, but see if they can actually help out. It might be just ferrying up the bottle there.
Yeah. Clockwork level 2 is not very scary. And the thing you do ensure by going these 2 bracers is multiple things. First of all, you have the regen, so if Invoker pokes back, you're still going to stay relatively healthy. And just this massive boost to your flat HP makes it way less appealing for Clockwork to come gank. You saw, this is a level 2 Clockwork. If he's level 3, I still don't think they kill. Like, it's just... cutting through 1200 HP with these 2 heroes is really, really difficult.
Yeah, oh, Matu. Oh. I thought that was going to connect from Puppey, but not to be, and the right click will be enough. So after all this, First Blood is top lane. Still for Execration, though, as they're still doing very well in all 3 lanes, as we can see. Matu, 27-0 in terms of CS. You're going to see Zai get pressured out now. I mean, these are pretty tough lanes for Secret.
This is the most one-sided first 5 minutes we've had in a game so far. We cast 4 games yesterday.
Hey, it's 2K already.
2K goal lead minute 5.
Yeah, that's
Secret are
gigantic.
Bodied.
Now, one way back, of course, is Ancient Stacks for Sven, which I'm not sure if we're seeing that come to fruition as of yet. But, I mean, there's already a sentry there to make sure that's not getting blocked for Secret, but in that triangle.
But yeah, great stuff from Execration so far. Gonna see a little bit of pressure coming onto Yowie and mid out of Nisha. He's trying to at least stand his ground, but didn't really accomplish much except just do a little bit of damage. And another benefit, just to finish off these bracers, is whenever you get max HP on Kunkka, you just make your ulti that much stronger, right?
Yep, so damage mitigation.
Having base HP on this hero is really, really good. Nisha gonna get X'd. They have an arrow ready to connect. This is problems.
Yep. No mana on the Owe, but it's not really gonna matter too much as more rotations come in. So an easy kill to add insult to injury. BDZ. He's just going to get barely pressured here from YapzOr. Rune is bottom. It's an illusion as we see bot lane. Zai getting chased by Palos, who I believe has that Orb of Corrosion. So, yeah, this is looking very rough for Secret. Not exactly what I was expecting to see. I mean, this is a team we talked about how they get off to really good starts just by out-farming the opponent, but they're just losing, it looks like, every single lane right now.
I'd say just theoretically, the lane that surprises me the most is bottom. I think the other two lanes, Execration, are inherently favored. Kunkka, at this level of play, a good Kunkka beats Invoker every time. Like, it doesn't matter. If Invoker goes Exort, it's the same story. He will still lose. And in the top lane, Hoodwink 5 is just weak.
Palos, he already has his ultimate, so pops the Enrage, gonna mitigate a lot of that damage. Gets vacuumed back in, though. Does Secret have enough damage to actually, no. YapzOr is not fast enough to catch up.
Somehow got away from the clockwork there, and that's kind of surprising. They must have had some bad luck with that vacuum. He must have got behind the tree line or something to not get caught in the battery. But
oh, look at these stacks on Matu. We see Yoe now here with the boat. Arrow's gonna connect as well. Oh my, this is so bad for Secret. They're gonna get the stacks and the kill. Yikes.
Oh my goodness.
And they get a Possessed Mask. Unbelievable trade here, SyndereN. Holy jeez.
At least it's their own. If they stole Secret's Possessed Mask, that would have been even worse. But yeah, awesome stuff from Execration. Who was it we saw yesterday with the Morph invasion? That was Gambit, I think. It was Lorenoff who made a similar play against
the Medusa.
That was Secret as well. It was the same story. Secret had stacked the jungle for their Medusa play by Matsu, and then Lorenoff just went in there on Morphling and stole it. And Execration were like, that's a cool play. We'll do that ourselves today. Seems like Secret have this approach to it. But yeah, this is one of the things, in my opinion, that you sign up for when you pick Hoodwink 5. I think this hero is just not very strong in lane as a 5, especially if the carry in lane is not a true bully. And Sven is not strong. Like, this hero needs time, he needs to build up. You have a bit of a stun and a right click, but you're not like, let's say, Gyrocopter or an Ursa that can really just get in there and do all the damage. Because what Hoodwink will offer you is a little bit of a slow and a stun, but its damage is not wild until you hit that level 6 mark. So the Execration know this very well and are just taking advantage of it. Puppy's in trouble.
Finds Puppy again. No need for the Mars Arena because he had just used it to kill Puppy a couple seconds ago, so no TP for him. Well, he'll get a new one. That's one of the great benefits of dying these days, I suppose. But what position do you like? The Hoodwink, because every game that I've seen, like in the NADPC, which it was picked, I think, more than any other region, was position 4 almost every single time. And it looked, at first I was a little skeptical, but it did look pretty good as BDZ getting pressured here. Of course, YapzOr only level 4 right now. And top tier 1 tower will be taken out without any defense from Secret.
In my opinion, Hoodwink is just not a first pick hero. I don't think it's good enough. I think it has too many weaknesses against specific heroes, like heroes that cut trees, heroes that have a natural way of being mobile, like fast traveling, or heroes that are strong in lane. You're seeing some of the weaknesses.
Mars Arena. Zai's in quite a bit of trouble. Into the arrow. Great setup. It's going to be more than enough damage to take out Zai. Now that tier 1 tower does fall. Actually, no, they defended it with just a little HP here. As YapzOr now gonna find the arms of Yoe with that X into boat. Nico will not fall for this, so it's gonna be a 2-for-0. Feels like Execration's just getting literally everything they want.
Yep. There's only one hero thriving right now in Secret, and that's Matu, and he is still behind the Ursa minute 10 as Sven. Because his big stacks got largely stolen. He did get some of the first stack before he got killed by the boat the previous fight, but yeah, Execration is just doing everything right. It's what I've been talking about. They're just doing such a good job rotating and casting spells off each other. That was what impressed me the very most with them yesterday. It wasn't like the drafts are solid. They're not like super creative or innovative. They just work. Like, it's heroes that combo, it's heroes that have stun, it's good lanes, and then they just execute. It's nice and it's straightforward. It's very easy to understand as a spectator what they're trying to do. And sometimes you can say that's a weakness. It's like, well, then the other team obviously understands it too. Well, you got to outplay them then. Right. It's one thing you know what they're going to do, but can you beat it, right?
Yeah, and we're continuing to see this build from Ursa where you go for the fast diffusal blaze. You're not going any type of farming mechanic, because that's kind of his... That was his biggest weakness for a long time, not being able to farm the jungle. And then you just start getting Battle Fury as of the last 1.5 years or so. But this feels like it's more of a snowball thing where you're up, you're going to be able to continue to chase. You have Orb of Corrosion on top of that, so it's going to be really difficult to get away from Ursa.
Diffusal Blade is super good against Sven. I think something to keep an eye out for Secret now is when they identify that this build is coming out, you need to reserve I think you need to reserve the Surge for Sven. He has to be able to reset out when he gets diffuseled, because it's one of the few carries that Sven can't just fight head-to-head if they have similar net worth at this stage of the game. Like, Ursa's going to just destroy you. You're not winning the trade. Whether you have Warcry on or not, it's going to be too much. So definitely something to
Nisha already expended the Tornado. Yowie is here. He's going to get hook shot. AA Blast is coming. It'll connect on basically nothing there. The boat comes out. It's only going to connect on one in the meantime. This would be a big kill for Secret. They have strength in numbers, so they do take out Yowie, and it looks like it'll stop there. But Matu did pop that out. We'll see if they try to go for some more. Maybe there's some stacks in the jungle for him.
Yeah. Good call from Secret. That's the kind of move that you don't have very much time to make, but Kunkka was just out of position for 2 seconds there, and they immediately pounced on that, so very nicely done. They're going to try to snowball a little bit off it. Immediate follow-up smoke. No hookshot now, of course, so I'll have to do it the slow way with engaging, and I don't think they're not really primed to find anything here, but they're at least going to get out some vision.
What do you think? Like when that hookshot is down, they don't really have much initiation unless Darkseer goes for some like a Blink Dagger build.
Yeah. And I will never really consider Hoodwink a catch. It's like, she's a really good follow-up, but it's not reliable, right? You have a spell that needs to be around trees. It has a projectile that is relatively easy to dodge.
The great thing is you can place a tree, Cinder. I don't know if you know about that.
It takes so long.
I know your favorite mechanic in the game is the fact that you can eat the tree from a bushwhack and it takes off bushwhack.
Yeah, I think that's completely unnecessary. I don't know why.
I mean, you think the hero's not good anyway, right? But I mean, we see teams picking it up, so maybe there's something there.
No, so the thing is, I don't think Hoodwink is a bad hero. I just think it needs conditions to be met, and that's why I don't like it being first pick. There are some, like, say a hero like AA, you don't, in this patch, I feel like you don't feel bad first picking AA, because you can pick, like, some sort of combos. You know you have something against healing, which is an integral part of late game, so you have, like, that insurance.
Oh, boy. Mars Arena, double damage on Nico as well. Rebuke and the AA Blast. Very easy killing. Yaps are just going to be the food to clean up the play for BDZ. That's a double kill for him.
Gets a 13-minute Vessel on Mirana. That is really, really good timing with these 2 kills coming out.
What's your condition here for Secret? Obviously, Matu needs to farm. He needs stacks, but how do you stack for him when Execration is being so active? I mean, they're getting Roche, for God's sake.
I think it's pretty difficult right now. When the lanes go this badly and the enemy team is just running at you like this and take the top tier 1 tower, your options on the map are very, very limited. The way I see it, you got to try to get Sven a BKB before you fight even. I don't think... Oh, no. He's farming enemy jungle. He's gonna caught.
X marks into boat. TPs are coming as well. And this is going to be a very, very easy kill, again, for Execration.
Diffusal Blade just go to work. He just absolutely slapped him. There's nothing he could do.
That didn't really look like a slap, but maybe we come from different backgrounds, SyndereN.
A mauling.
Yeah, that's more like it. I mean, have you seen a bear in real life? They don't slap.
We don't have bears in Denmark.
Oh, that's interesting. Tell me another interesting fact about Denmark. You know, we're making a joke that in America we call it Danish, like pastries, just Danish, and you guys just...
We call them Vienna bread.
Yeah, you call them Vienna bread. That's very odd.
Nobody wants to take credit or responsibility.
Hookshot actually connects with the cogs there.
Aegis down.
Yep, the ult from Puppey, that's the Aegis. They can still technically fight here. Yowie comes in, still no boat. AA Blast coming in. There's the ult from Matu. They're going to be able to take out the Mars very quickly, but it's going to be a trade for Zai. So off lane for off lane, and I believe both teams will just go back to farming.
That's pretty decent for Secret. I think at this point, if you trade even, they didn't even trade even. They got an Aegis too. So that's 2 for 1. Matu gets to access his triangle freely for a bit. So that's a little bit of a breather for Secret here, a little bit of space. They definitely have some work to do. So I'm still... Hoodwink is really a hero. I've played it quite a bit, right? And the reason... What I think about it is that the primary reason it gets played more successfully on average as a 4 than a 5 is that, in my opinion, the 5s are... It's more important that you have good laning presence. Whereas for the 4s, in a lot of matchups where you have another 4, there are some 3s in the game that are relatively self-sufficient. Like, let's say you're playing Hoodwink with... I don't know, a Centaur, right? If the Centaur gets off to a decent start and has a good matchup, the Hoodwink might not need to be a very big threat in the lane, but therefore he can start taking some space on the map, get some levels, get maybe 1 key item and start having a bigger impact. But if your 5 is weak and your carry, in this patch the carries are, for the most part, not extremely strong laners, you're leaving yourself susceptible, basically. So on average. The other thing is a lot of the offlaners combo well with the Hoodwink because they have kill potential, right? Like the Centaur, again, being a great example. You have a lot of spell burst, you get kills. Hoodwink with Sven don't really have the same thing. And We've definitely seen Execration so far in the game take full advantage of the fact that Hoodwink just isn't a very powerful laner.
That's just one lane, though. I mean, they did lose every single lane, right?
Yeah. But it's
I mean, either way, 4K net worth lead for Execration. I mean, this is 16 minutes. That's quite substantial.
It is.
I mean, if you're Secret, what do you need to do? You just need to slow the game down. I mean, Matu's trying to go for a BKB, so that's obviously a fighting build. That's not really. It's just Echo Saber BKB. Doesn't really have that much damage yet.
And he has Alacrity though. That does help him quite a bit.
True.
It's a Quaswex Invoker, so the attack speed will be there. Yeah, I think the name of the game is still just slow it down. Defend your mid tower. Try to defend the bottom tower as well, because it gives an access point for Execration to get into the triangle from 2 angles. And if you can successfully slow it down, and maybe, like, all it's going to take in this game is to get a couple BKBs in one good team fight, right? One thing that the Radiant does not deal with very well is BKBs. It makes Mars very weak, it makes Kunkka relatively weak, it makes Mirana weak. AA, you only have Ice Blast. So I'm not going to say that a Sven with BKB is invincible here, right? But it at least simplifies things to an extent where if the Ursa is accounted for, I don't think he will die. Sitting in Shadow Amulet.
Yeah.
Very,
is this an Overwatch case that I'm watching right now?
Very peculiar.
Okay.
Oh, it gives him experience.
Yeah, that's true. It's getting something out of it at least. And I think the big fight's going to be for this second Roche when it's eventually up. You have a Halberd on Kunkka already, so Sven, not even with the BKBs. We're going to see the initiation from Nico again. My goodness, Nisha is just getting wrecked this game hard. Kill after kill, pretty much. The last 3 arenas, I feel like, have been reserved for him.
I think this is kind of a pattern that we've been seeing in some of the games. I want to say the SEA and the Chinese teams have put more emphasis on destroying mid than the Western teams have. Like, there was a game yesterday as well with Miracle against Emo, where they ganked Miracle's TA mid like 3 times, and the Ember just took off completely. So they seem to be drafting a little bit around these combos that give them the potential to kill mid. And I think that's a really strong way of playing the patch, just because, once again, there's plenty of offlaners that can hold their own, right? You have this Mars who gets off to a good start, and then he's free to move. Oh, Puppy could be in trouble here. If there's a good Enrage, use it. No, it is.
And no Enrage needed. It is a hoodwink. That is truly unfortunate. We're going to see Yowie X back to base here.
Oh yeah, Puppy didn't have his stun ready. He used it to farm. So
he got a couple creeps. I'm sure it was worth it. I mean, see, when I look at this net worth distribution for Secret, and Yapzor is literally last in the game, that's never a good sign for Secret.
That is usually trouble.
All right, we're going to see Moonlight Shadow. Nico with the Mars ult again. Looks like he doesn't really want to go for Yapzor. He's like, I guess. Sunstrike is there, but does a little bit of damage to Mars in the meantime. But here's the counter initiation. Mars ult finally comes out into the boat. AA Blast to follow. So they finally do get the lowest net worth hero in the game. It takes quite a bit of effort, though, as Ursa disarmed for the time being. There's the spear, and Puppy's going to die again. That's 2 back-to-back deaths. And here's the X into the Torrent. Looks like they'll find Zai as well. As Matu pops the ult, then just immediately gets disintegrated by the bear, who does not slap SyndereN. How dare you? Right. Yep, Sunstrike not quite enough, and I mean, Secret get literally nothing out of that, and now the Sven ult on cooldown.
I don't know how you re-access the map right now. I really don't. Like, I can tell you from playing games in this position, if you're a lineup that needs to wait for a specific item, and the key to getting that item is having access to your triangle, but you're playing into a team that has twice as good catch as you, and better team fight, and are an item up, you're kind of in desperation mode right now. It's not like coming back from 8K is impossible, but I'm trying to, like, you know, when you're behind, you try to communicate and find like a recipe, right? You want to dumb down the fight so that everybody knows, okay, how do we initiate a fight so that we win?
Oh boy.
My goodness, not again.
I mean, he has to do stuff like this, so that's the thing. It's not like he's, like, once you're down, you have to try to make space where you can, and I mean, you got to give Execration credit. They are just shutting this down hardcore.
Running him over. Like, I can't really put a finger on what they've done. I think the only real mistake I've seen in this game was Kunkka's death mid. Like, everything else has been super clean. The way they drafted their lanes, the way they played said lanes, the timing that they got Roche, when they invaded, they stole stacks early. Like, this has been top tier stuff from them. This is Execration's best game so far. I think they're looking really hot today. But you gotta wonder for Secret as well. Like, I picked Secret to win this series coming into today because I was like, okay, they're gonna have learned their lessons from yesterday, but they might have overcompensated a little bit in some areas. Like, to me, this looks like a very untraditional Secret draft, right? In the sense that usually Secret will ensure their lanes and then build a farming lead, but they just have the weaker lanes all around. And Execration are just taking everything they're given all the time.
Yep, taking full advantage for sure. And this is just going to snowball from here. The tier 2 tower looks like Secret might want to defend here. Nisha, you know, a couple levels behind his counterpart, Kunkka mid. Fortification's already popped, and keep in mind that Roshan is coming back shortly, so that's a big contesting point. Obviously, Execration can take it way faster, and in terms of, I mean, Secret have some good counter initiation. If you get a good vac wall, I mean, that's the beauty of Darkseer. The stronger your opponents get, the stronger your ult becomes.
Yeah.
But it is difficult to kind of combo with the heroes that they have. It's not like they have the Exort, like Meteor, into all that wombo combo potential.
And I think it's also worth keeping in mind when it comes to wall. Something that's often overlooked is the enemy team's ability to kill the illusions, right? And they have it. They have a lot of AoE damage. All right, good
hook shot. Matu's going to pop the ult. Sunstrike to follow. Air's going to come and connect onto Yapzor for now. Nico actually gets Force Staff to safety, so he's perfectly fine. Matu pops a newly picked up BKB, and that's it. That is the fight from Secret. That is truly bad. Now Execration just needs to wait out this BKB and or the Sven ult. There's a double damage though, so poses a little bit of a threat, I suppose. But yeah, this is all about Roshan. Another minute and a half to go, so kind of a later spawn. But Execration still looking like they're in the driver's seat right now.
For sure.
What, do you know anything about being in the driver's seat? Do you drive?
No, I don't.
Do you have a license?
No, I don't.
Like, if I gave you the keys to my car, would you be able to drive?
No, but I know what it's like being in the passenger seat, and that's where Secret is. So, so I can relate.
I'm pretty sure they're in the back seat right now. They're
in the trunk.
They're in the toddler little thing.
Yeah, it's not looking good. And what I was trying to get at before is if you're in this position, you try to make a plan for how to access a fight, right? Like, okay, we're gonna jump this guy, we're gonna cast our spells this way. This is the key hero that we need to shut down. I'm looking at Secret strategy, and I can't really come up with a very good attack plan right now to entering a fight, right?
Yeah.
Like, who do you go on with who so that it's successful? When you're playing into Boat, you're playing into the BKB, you're playing into an Ursa that's just killing everyone. Moonlight Shadow is a problem. You have to be able to handle getting ice blasted on your carry basically when you go in, because
I mean, what do you think about like Secret's lineup? I mean, it's easier, you know, this is hindsight 2020 stuff, but like their initiation relies on Yapzor, who is the least farmed player in the entire game. Like, how much of a factor is that? Because he's going for Aghanim. Imagine he had Ags already, which he normally would probably around this time. That gives you double initiation. It gives you so many more possibilities.
It's not necessarily a problem to build a strategy around the 4 being a bit sacrificial. The problem is, again, how badly the lanes went. Like, let's say Clockwork has a bad game and everyone else is doing great. I think it's okay. Like, you can even play Clockwork position 5 in some games if your carry is strong enough. Like, a lane like Gyro position 1 Clock 5 can totally work, even at a pro level. But again, recovering from this tough of a start against a team that has so much catch and so good spellcasting is always going to be a major challenge. And
I mean, look at Zai. He has a pipe. That's it.
Yeah.
This is not normal farm from Secret, that is for sure.
And they don't have good physical mitigation, right? Like these Kunkka Cleaves, the Ursa are the Rebuke. It's definitely.
We have a smoke from Secret, and well, the Mirana ult as well, but they're going to catch out the Mirana, so they start this fight out 5v4. And of course, Roche is up, and they have to go for this, I feel like. And there is a buyback available on a Mirana.
Yep. They're going to take a risk here. This could back.
Palace jumps in right onto Nisha, absolutely destroying him, but goes in Viz, doesn't have any vision for now, finally finds it. Nico with the Marzal just to ensure that they take out that pesky Invoker. Mirana did buy back. They found the AA as well, so this is now technically a 4v4. The arrow does connect on Matu. Expect a buyback here on the Invoker potentially as the Ghost Ship coming in. Connect into the Spear as well. They have more than enough damage. And with the dust, Matu finds his way to the grave, and now Execration can do whatever they want. Still buybacks available from Secret, but they're not going to expend them. So they can find one more kill and likely Roche to follow.
I love watching Execration spellcasting. It's like a well-oiled machine. It's so good to
Do you know anything about a well-oiled machine as well?
I do. I have been in the passenger seat of many a well-oiled machine in my life.
I see. Interesting.
Yes. No, well, what's so beautiful about it is
you have a lot of car references, I noticed. It's interesting.
Machines don't have to be cars.
I know, but that one, when you think of a well-oiled machine, you think of a car. At least a normal human does. It's wow. All right, well, he's actually going to tick out in the fountain with the ice blast.
I don't know. I think of a machine, and a machine could be a lot of things.
So when you say a well-oiled machine, you think of a coffee machine? Is that what you're trying to say?
A meat grinder.
A meat grinder.
Yes.
That's very specific, and it actually speaks volumes to your person. It makes a lot of sense now.
Yes.
Your upbringing.
Yes.
Okay. As Palos, well, we have the Aegis, we have the Shard now, so anytime he uses Earthshock, he will get a 1.5 second enrage buff, which, again, we talked about this yesterday, I think is a top 5 Shard in the entire game.
Very good.
Extremely good. I mean, it's always nice to, like when you get this second rush, you want to give it to your carry or your mid, typically.
Usually, yeah.
But sometimes there's there's better shards to give it to, technically, right? But this is the best shard, and it's on your carry, so it works both ways here.
The Kunkka shard could have also been interesting. I think it's...
You actually think it's good? I feel like it's a meme.
It's really, like, I feel like on any hero where you just get an additional ability that has damage and repositioning potential, that's powerful, right?
Yeah, but the repositioning could, like, screw everything up, right?
It can.
Because it's a well-oiled machine, and if you add patch notes to a well-oiled machine, you can't do that. It doesn't work that way.
Have you seen Execration spellcasting? Do you think that's going to mess them up?
Yes.
Okay.
If you've never bought it before and you buy it for the first time, yeah.
Of course they've played with Kunkka shard.
You're assuming a lot of things.
I've seen some Kunkka players with a lot of games that are buying shard this patch, and they just have so much control. Like, the fact that you can... It's kind of like a pseudo X-Mark even in some situations where you can torrent and then tidal wave people into the torrent. And I think tidal wave gets a lot better when you have Axe. So I guess from that perspective, since he went for the physical build with Halberd, maybe he doesn't take it, but when you have torrent storm, it's actually super annoying, because usually, like, in fights, people will navigate the storm, right? They will try to get around it. Okay, Puppy's dead again.
It's fine. Keep talking.
How's Puppy doing this game? I feel like he's only died. Okay, 1-5-1.
He has more farm than Yapzor still.
Yeah, he has. Well,
he's basically positioned for Hoodwink.
I think this might be Yapzor's lowest CS ever, minute 28. No joke. It might be the least CS he's ever had. He has 18 creeps.
Yeah, that's...
I don't remember seeing... Like, when he plays clock, even, he'll usually have at least, like, double this or triple. But there's just been nothing to claim. The map has just been on lockdown.
I mean, again, this is less about Secret playing poorly, in my opinion. It's more about Execration just playing godlike right now. They're doing everything right.
They really are.
Hey, plenty of time on Aegis. You really hate to lose it here. Nice sidestep of the Sunstrike, which he definitely knew was coming. And we'll TP back to base.
X-Mark for the refill.
And a Titan Sliver. Very
Sliver
nice.
is very good. Okay, serious time.
Okay. That means not serious time.
Exactly. Out of your teammates that you get in your pubs, how big a percentage do you think call it Titan Silver, and how many call it Titan Silver?
I would say more than half say Silver.
Yeah. Even in
when you asked what was that a test for me?
Huh?
Were you testing how I would say it?
No, I mean I said it for you. I said Sliver.
Oh, did you? No, you said what neutral item is it?
Oh, I did. Actually, true. Yeah.
It was. Yeah. You always test me. And I love it. Initiation on Tanisha. Enrage is popped. That was actually the ultimate and not his shard. They're going to reset here as the cold feet onto Yapzor. And it will actually proc. Ghost Ship coming into the X, and that's an easy kill on Yapzor again. So tier 2 to follow in all likelihood. I mean, the wall has already been placed as well, so Palace with that Aegis should be able to go in anytime he wants. Oh, nice tornado actually disrupts the Nico Mars ult, so wasn't able to get that off, but...
That was very fortuitous. That tornado was actually not intended for him. But he blinked into it.
Yeah, I do that a lot. Puppy. Yeah, looks like he's donezo. Needs the help from Nico, though, so that'll be an easy one as Zai. Kind of on the outskirts of this fight. I mean, they do have buybacks on Secret, so they probably have one fight in them here.
They forced the BKB on Matsu as well with Ice Vortex into Arrow. He had to BKB that. He was scared of dying.
And look at that. He's actually going Ags, which is like not the typical thing on Sven anymore because they just lack initiation right now. I mean, typically, if you're going to get that, you want a lot more farm first, right? It feels like kind of a desperation mode, which obviously pretty understandable.
They need the big combo, right? They need Vacuum into Stormhammer, and they need, the moment that Stormhammer connects, they need a big amount of damage, so...
That Crystallis. Oh, here's the Mars ult onto 2. No BKB for Mr. Matu. The Ice Blast will finish him off. Yapzor next on the list, and this is a huge stomp in Execration's favor. It's going to be a 1-0 start for them. Again, both teams have split every single series they played so far. And they both desperately need a 2-0 at some point. It's Nisha, they have the vision, and they have the kill.
if Secret don't clean this up for the next game, this is going to be a 2-0. They look absolutely just lost.
Yeah, they look pretty lost here.
But the thing is, I feel like it's very easy to look lost when you lose all 3 lanes and your tower and Roche this fast and your lineup works like this. So you got to draft differently. Like for me, this really, it comes back to the draft that you're setting yourselves up to kind of have to massively outplay. Whereas Execration, if they perform their strategy well and do the lanes well, which I think they overperform it, not necessarily for them, but they won probably by more than I would have expected on average in these 3 lanes, especially bottom. Like the Ursa was 1,000 net worth ahead of Darkseer minute 6 or something. It was pretty crazy. If you're going to show up like this today, Secret really needs to get back to the drawing board. And I think what they should adjust for game number 2, they need to have stronger lanes and they need to be able to fight them head on. Like they actually just have to.
Regeneration.
Well, they're going to hold on for one more potential Wombo combo. Matu about 1,000 away from finishing up his Ags. So he'll be able to travel with his Stormhammer.
He almost needs to do it on his own, though. Invoker's damage is
even
very
with that, I mean, again, obviously they're severely underperformed, but just a Crystallis, that's not really that much damage. Oh, Spear will miss. AA Blast coming in, though. Matu getting chased. Yeah, he's inside the arena now. And this is going to be a relatively easy kill. The BKB is popped by Palos. And he just absolutely crushes them. Buyback onto Matu, so the dreams of an Aghanim Scepter are long gone. Vacuum into basically nothing. Boat actually hits 2. And it looks like Execration wants to reset now that the buyback has come to fruition for Matu. And they technically could go back in if they really want, but they have expended most of their ults here. Let's see if Secret can find any outskirts here. All right, Bushwhack connects on 1. Oh. I think Execration, yep, X marks into, yep, BKB for Nisha, and yet another BKB usage just to run away. That feels like the whole game has been like that for Secret. Defensive BKBs, can't use it to fight.
Yeah.
Not able to really connect on their, like, the quote-unquote combo, or Wombo combo potential. And Palace has played extremely well on the Ursa. Has a Satanic now. As we're going to see, oh, that, I'm not sure if that was intended, but that worked out relatively well. It's Matu, here we go. This is the potential here inside a closed quarter area. Back into the wall. Yeah, the cogs are just screwing everything up. Nobody can figure out where the hell they're padding. Matu pops the BKB, pounding upon Yowie, but now he's stuck inside the arena into an arrow. That's technically a dieback. And I expected GG here out any moment.
I've been there as clockwork, you know? You get this 3-man catch you really want to cog, and now your Sven can't get in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Matu was actually blocked out from getting in. Some good damage that he could have maybe found 2 kills, but yeah. At the end of the day, I don't know if that would have really cut it. Execration just... That was a dismantling. Was that the most one-sided game of the Major so far?
Of the games that we've cast,
of ours,
sure.
Easily, that was a total song.
Yeah.
Like, Secret didn't get...
I mean, it was a 2K net worth lead at, like, 6 minutes, it felt like 7 minutes. Maybe that's a little early, but it was super fast. Which, again, like against Secret, that's...
suspicious about that. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm so surprised because Liquid really Taiga popularized her as a 4 position.
A damage-dealing 4 position.
Yes, a damage-dealing 4 position.
That the entire premise of her, so she does damage, but she also is a hero that can run anywhere on the map with like pipe, treads, and a solar, and you're just like, well, we can't go on this person.
You're never afraid.
That doesn't die. He goes like double fluffy hat, and even like a Dragonlance sometimes. And the whole idea is this is like the power of having a mobile ward is pretty insane. Also a ward that will probably kill you if you don't do anything about it.
And that's not even factoring in her creep. If she gets a creep, then she has 2 mobile wards.
Yes.
She puts one elsewhere on the map. She's split pushing. She's one of my favorite heroes of the patch
Information game. I think Enchantress is an incredibly high skill cap hero, and I love seeing how people do it.
Yeah.
Because it's the cool thing. I was playing offlane maybe about a year ago, and it was a Nature's Prophet patch and an Enchantress offlane patch, and I realized that these heroes, the reason why I never played them well was they take like this very unique mindset. It's not about doing anything specifically correct, it's about never being out of position.
Yeah.
That's really what it is. You have to constantly be in the right part of the map pressuring, and eventually the opponent can't deal with you anymore. You know, like you have a bunch of free summons, very efficient trading, and eventually they're gonna have to dedicate their resources to something else, and you're gonna kill them, or you're gonna take their towers. And so I always like to hit power spikes. You know, I'm one of those guys, get that BKB, get that Blink Dagger, go for a big fight. But Enchantress, I consider it very high skill, because if you're not constantly doing that, eventually the opponent will hit their timings better than you do, and then you're just a creep.
That's why I feel like Invis heroes fell off big time, because Invis heroes, their whole thing was like, oh, I can get information very easily.
Yes.
But they're also dedicating their own time to not doing anything other than getting vision and stuff like that. Whereas these summon heroes, these heroes are difficult to kill. Like, it's like a secondary factor for them.
Yeah, Baden kind of went up in the difficult to kill ward category. Yep, there's the Wraith King ban.
And Grimstroke Doom, a classic Southeast Asian combo, double Doom. And now who is Mag going to be empowering? Can't empower Void, can't empower Ursa. Is
probably
that Arc
Jug.
Warden ban next to Ursa?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's probably Jug based on the fact that they banned Void Morphling.
Jug.
Surprised that Execration is leaving it.
Or PA.
Wait, what's that ban? Is that Arc Warden?
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. I think it's Arc Warden.
I definitely haven't seen that one yet.
I can't imagine any hero has like a big blue
why
face.
Arc?
Yeah, that was the question I was going to ask. It's like, why Arc Warden here? What do you think is going to
power that Arc Warden? Maybe they've done it to him in a scrim. It really could be that simple.
If they want maybe a Drow Ranger on Execration or Medusa.
Terrorblade, maybe?
Terrorblade, yeah. One of these ranged carries.
I feel like based on Secret's bans, they're just going to pick Jug.
Why do you prefer Jug over PA?
I guess those bans would be... PA against Doom is a yikes.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of that. The laning matchup's like mediocre because Doom has like 5 armor now.
That's true.
And then he heavily benefits from the stick charges. And then it's just really difficult for PA to enter fights ever. Jug, on the other hand, you can Doom him, but if he's got a healing ward or spin-off, he's probably going to be able to disengage. And he also healing wards his teammates. So maybe I'm just oversimplifying this. On paper, it just seems really nice.
Or if they want to go for full-on cleave, I guess they could go for the Sven again. Although Doom does dispel, so the Warcry kind of loses some efficacy.
So they were thinking... Secret took, I think, a minute and a half of their reserve time to come up with that DK ban. So I think that was largely due to the fact that they were debating and deliberating what they were going to pick third. There's a lot of different options. I think they were either going to pick the carry there and then save the mid for last, or vice versa. Looks like they chose the...
And the DK ban is just to protect that puck pick, right?
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like, because they were thinking about what they had to pick, that ban had to cater to that. So you notice how they immediately picked right after they banned.
Yeah,
they burned a lot of reserve time on that big decision.
It couldn't come back to bite them.
How would it come back to bite them?
Just in case if Execration throws a curveball in the draft and Team Secret's now down to the last pick and they're not sure, you know?
Which I think is a very real possibility, because you don't ban Arc Warden unless you have a curveball up your sleeve. So Execration may be planning something a little bit off the wall. And even though you protect the puck in the mid lane with the DK ban, the puck still has to be pretty careful now that there's a Lion on the side of Execration.
I feel like Ricky would be kind of cool here for Execration. I think it's a really nice rookie game.
Yeah, great pairing with the Grimstroke in lane. And
nice against the puck, the cloud against the mag. It's really hard to lock you down with the lockdown they have. You have decent wave clear with the Doom and the Grimstroke, but they just go, yeah, go for the boring route. Lifestealer. He's nice. I think it's a good pick. It's less about the lane, more so about the ease of execution of the game. You have this Doom hero that's going to run in for you. And Lifestealer is so good at enabling the guys that run in for you because you never want to go on them because Lifestealer will join the fray. He'll pop that rage, spend the 6 seconds doing as much damage as he can. You can't hit the Lifestealer because he's raged. And then the other person that you're forced to target, which is this Doom, suddenly gets this burst of health from Infest. So you really want that like partner in crime that you're going to run into the fight with. And
it may be easier to hit the Lifestealer in rage because at least you have a Spell Immune Piercing disable with RP. And maybe Puck gets a Coil Ags Scepter.
You have like no damage though is the problem.
With Empower though, Empower plus the Jug that you were talking about, which is still available, PA gets banned out, Slark gets banned out. So yeah, the Jug is still in the pool.
Yeah, it is. So Team Secret has overall last pick. Is there anything other than Jug? It's not the greatest Troll Warlord game. It'd be okay though. Like I'd be okay with Troll Warlord. Thinking they need heavy single target physical damage.
Terrorblade?
Okay. I do like Terrorblade a bit more because of the bristle, but not against the Lion.
Yeah, especially if it gets that shard.
Yeah, the mana drain against the illusions is just so... It just slows down your farm a lot.
I do like this Bristleback a lot though. Doesn't really have to deal, it isn't really worried about Puck. It doesn't provide very much lockdown though, so this Lion has his work cut out for him.
Oh, they're going Monkey King, I think. This is Secret. They're gonna pick Monkey King.
Really?
Yeah,
I thought that's a dead hero.
Yeah, do you think that this is a good game for the Monkey King?
It's Jug or Monkey King. I think it's really nice against all 3 cores of Execration.
Good call.
Great call.
Yeah. I was concerned about the Lion, but I was like, you need a hero that capitalizes on sustained, long drawn-out fights and just gets free damage. You actually need free damage because they need a lot of damage. You're dealing with a Lifestealer, a Bristleback, a Doom. There's so much raw HP.
So you're talking about the free damage from the Jingu?
Yeah, I'm talking about just by hitting you multiple times.
Yeah.
Like, notice how they ban out the Ursas, the Slarks already. PA just kind of dumps out damage anyway, so.
Well, let's think about what the path to victory looks like for both of these teams, because keep in mind, folks, if you're just tuning in right now, this is the wild card. We're trying to figure out the 2 teams that are going to make it through to tomorrow. We're going to be getting rid of 4 squads by the end of the day today, even if it does go to tiebreakers. And right now, Secret just lost an important first game up against Execration. Execration is trying to keep this upset going. So what does the path to victory actually look like for Execration? How can they keep the upset alive?
Same thing as the first game, honestly. I think that as long as they step on the gas, then this Puck is never really going to be able to split people apart, get ganks, because everyone's just going to be grouped up all the time. Monkey King, great in pick-off situations, but if he has to deal with a Doom and never gets Wukong's command off, then he's kind of paralyzed. But I am more encouraged with Secret's draft this time.
Well, last time, Brian, you were looking at the Ursa. You were like, okay, this Ursa is what needs to snowball. Is there something in particular that you're looking for to snowball this time around for Execration?
Yeah, I think the recipe is very different because you have very elusive cores in the Puck and the Monkey King, and if you're stuck chasing them around with the draft you have, Doom, Lifestealer, Bristle, lacks mobility at all, you're going to have some issues. But if you're allowed to just walk at them and kind of corral them into their side of the map by virtue of simply ramming it down their throats and not actually having to kill them, but just pushing them back into their side of the map, that's the recipe for Execration to win this game. I think it falls heavily on the Bristle getting a couple early Ancient stacks and him being the catalyst for making that happen.
Completely different recipe to actually pull this one down. It's time to see how dynamic Execration can actually be.
Execration versus Team Secret, game 2 of 2. SUNSfan here with SyndereN. Execration looked god tier in game number 1. What do you think of their draft? It looks like a very, very tanky draft at the very, and they have a lot of combos with Grimstroke.
Yeah, so they follow their. It's really obvious to me right now that that is the ideology this team works with. They work with combos, right? They have 3 Grimstroke Inkswell carriers. They have Soulbind with Doom, Finger of Death, Hex, and Earthspike. And double goo.
And open wounds once the shard comes online.
Absolutely.
Let's not forget.
The difference here, the primary difference I see for them this time around compared to last game Execration, as I think the logos on the top are incorrect. So let's just make sure we talk about the right teams, right? So Execration are in the dire right now, even though the logos do show Secret there. They have much more limited catch than last game, where they were playing with the Kunkka and Mars for the very easy picks. This time around, the only real catch they have is Lion with a dagger or Doom with a dagger. So they need to pay for their catch. And this time, they're also going to lose the first blood.
That's right.
To Nisha.
Nisha, I mean, after last game, he's going to be very happy with this. I mean, again,
he also has a better matchup.
Yeah, it was not a good matchup to begin with, and this will help him out quite a bit.
Yeah. So better matchup, first blood gold. I think it's a 2-for-2 rune exchange, if I'm not mistaken. Actually, Secret even got 3 runes, so great advantage for them from the start. And yeah, I think after seeing what happened last game, I like it better what Secret have this time around, strictly for the fact that their laning stage should be easier to deal with. They have the Monkey King into Doom matchup, which is good. Puck versus Bristle, I think, is largely going to be a draw. And the top lane with Magnus and Snapfire should also be able to hold their own. So I think this time around, Secret will not be down 2k gold at 5. More than likely, it'll just be a wash. And that's kind of what they need, right? They need to be able to enter the game so that they can execute the fights. Because this team is exceptionally good at playing mid-late game team fights, but there's only so much you can do if the enemy team literally has 2 or 3 catches and just destroyed you in all lanes. This time around, that is definitely not going to be the case. Lion being bullied away by Puppy at bottom.
So what do you think of Bristle this game as a whole? Because the Monkey King last pick, BSJ called it. It's good against like melee heroes in general, like the Lifestealers and Dooms of the world. But Bristleback, it feels like it's a little different, right? They don't really have a true counter. They have no inherent breaks. Like you'd have to get a silver edge essentially.
He's definitely hard to deal with, but he does suffer against Diffusal Blade, and Monkey King likes buying that, especially when he's playing with Magnus. Get a second kill now on the line. Puppy's Enchantress is really, really damn good, and it's one of the worst. I want to say it's one of the worst support matchups in lane for Lion. The heroes you don't want to play against are the ones that can just bully you relentlessly, so you don't get to pull, you don't get to cast spells in lane. Enchantress just beats you at everything. If she gets a creep, you can't lane. You have nothing that's good against the creep. You can stun and run, right? And in terms of overall lane trading, Enchantress is stronger. She has better stats overall. She has a very strong slow for your carry to connect with. And she's now going to come in here with a Mind Stealer. So going to start mono draining Nico here.
Yeah, it's such an annoying creep to deal with.
Yep.
Yeah, Nico, level 3 right now. Puppy's still only level 1. Actually just ticks up to 2 there, as we see the tomato being eaten by Nico.
He could have chosen to eat the Mind Stealer.
Yeah, true.
But ends up taking the big creep away from Puppy here.
And then on Secret side, if you look at, towards the mid to late game, they have a lot of team fight. You got this coil that can set up a lot of good RPs. Obviously, the Snapfire ult combos with that really well, and Monkey King is with it. Like, they have this combo potential as well. I think it just depends on how good of a start they get off to. I mean, in terms of initiation, who would you want to be? Because I was mentioning this pre-draft, or during the draft, that Execration side, Lifestealer is typically here that wants to be inside somebody that initiates it, which means you have to go Blink on Doom, I assume.
Yeah,
which maybe not the most reliable thing.
Yep. I will generally favor the team that has Puck for initiation, because it's just so easy, right? You have a hero that's mobile and has a catch. And Monkey King can also work as an initiation a lot of the time, actually, in the right positions on the map. Matu.
Yeah, Jingu will proc as a result of the Boundless Strike, and Matu gets yet another kill in this lane. Puppy has 1, and Matu the other. So a much different start from Secret. That is for sure here.
They're not going to get run over this game. I'll call it already. There's like no way at this point that Execration...
Very bold.
No,
Very bold.
You can come off to a good laning phase and then absolutely fall apart mid-game, right? It just seems unlikely. Secret have good team fight. They have the catch from Puck. They have Mortimer Kisses. They have an Empower carry that got off to a good start. So everything is everything is set up nicely for them to be competitive in this game. That doesn't necessarily mean that I flat out just favor them later. I think a lot of it comes down to the dagger timings, because Execration will struggle to enter fights correctly until they have dagger on Doom and maybe Lion. But once those are online, well, Lion dagger
is his third death of the game. Looks like Puppey will take that for himself.
I think so. It's very tempting for Lion to go and try to contest the pull, right? You don't want to let the enemy support pull the safe camp. In this game, you have to settle. You just can't do it.
Right.
Enchantress has a really strong slow, and Monkey King can connect with Primal Spring. So no matter where you are in the jungle, you're dead. It's just inaccessible. Doom has to suffer. And Lion can maybe rotate top to try to find kills there and give Lifesteal a good start. He could maybe gank mid if he has Hex. You know, these options are available to him. But yeah, bottom lane is just off limits right now. And it looks like now he's given up. He's like, okay, you know what? Impossible. He's going to go stack camps. And I like this. You know, he's identifying that this is just, it's just overbought.
Yeah.
Completely over.
At the very least for Execration, Palace on the Lifestealer is farming relatively well. Basically, well, aside from denies, basically even with the Monkey King on the other side. So, what do you think of Lifestealer in this specific game? Because as Nico again, wow, Jingo's going to stack up again. I believe he has Boundless Strike as well. So I feel like he just has to go jungle or something. I don't know what you can do in this lane anymore.
They are in so much trouble bottom. Who can you even put there? Like maybe you could swap Doom and Bristle at this point, because Bristle has the level advantage, so he can hold his own bottom. He has a couple of points, Bristle back. He can stand there against this harassment. Doom just can't return bot. I think it's just a death sentence. This lane is just uninhabitable by anyone else than Bristle. So I don't think they should even try to do it. If he goes down there, he's just gonna die again.
Yeah, he's walking down there.
I think this is a really overlooked part of Enchantress. Like, obviously at a pro level, the players know and use Enchant this way, but it's like the best slow in the game. It's crazy good. Level 2 slow, 4.5 seconds slow.
Yep.
For 55%. And on top of that, Enchantress has the damage, and she has the creep, right? But she doesn't even need a creep to kill Doom. She had it that time. I don't think it was necessary.
It was not necessary. Yeah. I mean, now that Monkey King is off to such a good start, he could probably just solo, honestly.
And you do hear people usually focus on, oh, Enchantress's laning stage, what makes it so good is that she takes a creep with Enchant and then she bullies, right? And while that is true, the transition of being able to find the kills just by virtue of that spell being as strong as it is when hero targeted just makes it all that much better.
Yeah, mid lane we had the first coil of the game, and a TP from Matu, and Yapsor transitioned over as well. So another big kill for Secret is, I mean, is this just the complete opposite of last game? Like, Secret have just woken up. They just needed a game to warm up or something. But Execration, like, I like their lineup. It's just, they seem a little stubborn to just continue down these. I mean, obviously the Bristleback's the first death, but the Doom specifically is, we see some jungle stacks taken now from Secret. I
think you have to get the idea to put Bristlebot. I just don't see better solutions right now. Everyone else is going to...
Well, I mean, the only lane for Execration now is Lifestealer. He's having a good game.
Yeah.
And back to my original question, what do you think of Lifestealer in this specific game? Because the RP goes through Rage. Obviously, he's traditionally picked against the Enchantress type here once the Untouchable comes up. But, I mean, there's only one strength hero, so he's not really going to get that much damage from the passive, at least.
Yeah, He's all right because of how well he deals with...
Wow, this is a big dive. Okay. All right, well, Lion's going to die. It's going to be a trade for Puppey.
He forces a 3-man rotation, though. It's not that bad. Even if he has a killing spree, that's barely a loss. I will say, Lifestealer, in my experience, really sucks when he needs the team to thrive a bit. It's not the kind of hero that's just going to come online and
just win the game.
And win the game, right? Like, there needs to be something to play around because of how naturally kiteable and how much you can itemize against it. If the enemy team is winning, they can just start itemizing like 3-4 steps, right? And you just kite.
Right.
So it's a bit concerning for Execration that the kind of carry that they have in this game where the lanes are falling apart this much is Lifestealer. And I'm gonna keep coming back to the daggers. It really is the move that I see for them, but they are going to be so late because the dagger carriers both lost the lane terribly. But it really does feel like it is what you have to play for here.
Matu's gonna pop his ult really early here. Nice coil as well onto the Bristleback, and this is going to be a pretty easy kill for Secret if they can just finish him off. Cookie's there as well. Doom is actually applied to Matu, but it looks like he's perfectly fine. He can just turn the tables onto Nico now, as the Jingo is going to come up very shortly. Not even needed. It's a double kill for Nisha, and Execration just falling apart at the seams here.
Oh, yeah.
3 dead, and they do get Matu finally. Some silver lining there as BD. Wow, the illusory orb just did like 75% of his HP.
Being level 3 Lion minute 9 is...
Yeah.
That feels so bad.
Do you know from experience?
I've been there. It's one of those heroes where if the laning stage goes very poorly, you just feel awful until level 6. Like, you just don't. And that's definitely something we could criticize Execration for in this game compared to the last game where we loved their laning stage. I think Lion Doom is just an exceptionally greedy lane. It doesn't really offer much. It doesn't have a lot of damage, it doesn't have a lot of pressure, and the Monkey King pick Arctic Blue is also a stroke of genius, like a really, really good solution to the problems that they have. But I think there were other options too that could have helped their own bottom, just not this well maybe.
Right, I mean, that's a 9-minute tier 1 mid. That opens up the map so much for Secret.
And they're 2k gold ahead against Doom.
Yeah, now Magnus working on his Blink Dagger. Is Mata just continuing to be very active here? Zai with the Skewer. Does have RP, will expend it. See Snapfire from the north coming as well. Just wants to get a little bit more XP. I mean, YapzOr's having a much better game this time around as well. I mean, 11-2 advantage. It's a 2k net worthly, which isn't as much as last game for Execration, despite the kill discrepancy being so large right now.
But that really largely is down to the Devourer, right? Like,
That's true.
Imagine if Doom didn't have this skill, his net worth right now would be 2,500.
That's a good point.
He's actually just...
I mean, I'm sure that the XP differential is probably enormous as well right now.
It's got to be pretty big. I'm going to have a look. I can't find the button.
There, it's right. It's on the screen.
There it is. 4K. Okay, so that's... A lot of the times, XP and gold go relatively hand in hand in these earlier stages of the game. So if you want to look at it that way, then the Devourer has definitely accounted for at least 1,000 gold, maybe more.
Yeah, and I like that Secret is just continuing the pressure here. Have smoked up again, working their way towards bottom lane. Execration, I mean, they have pretty much everything. Doom not quite up for another 12 seconds as Puppey's getting chased now by Yowie. See the Snapfire ult from afar, but not able to catch the Lion since he's so close, but gets the Grimstroke instead. I mean, Lion doesn't really need many resources to take out at this point. YapzOr getting chased. Looks like he'll be the sacrificial lamb. It's going to cost 3 of Execration, and now the coil comes out into the Monkey King ult. Probably not even needed, but I mean, that's a 4-for-1, not even remotely close fight, and they defend the tier 1 bot.
Yeah, I think this is a really questionable play call from Execration just because they're 200 gold away from the Doom Blink, right? Like, I think your timing in the game now is Grimstroke level 6, so you have Soulbind, and you need a Doom Dagger. That is when you can do something. You Soulbind 2 heroes, you blink in and Doom them both with an Infested Lifestealer, or something similar, but Lifestealer hasn't skilled Infest yet. And man, their supports are just absolutely dumpstered. Neither support is level 6 minute 11:30. They're both level 5. Grim is barely level 5.
I'm guessing the tome is already used.
I think so.
By one of them, I assume?
Yeah,
I would hope.
I think Lion took it because he was like, hey, dude, I'm level 3.
Yeah.
And, like, it's such a tough call to make because getting Soulbind here really feels like a potential comeback skill, but who wants to be level 3 Lion? Like, it's damn it if you do, damn it if you don't kind of thing with this tone.
I mean, keep in mind with the standings right now in the wild card, if Execration continue to, you know, come to a deficit here as the game goes on, Secret take this victory, it's still just a draw for both teams. I don't think either of them will get top 2 if they just continue to draw.
Right. They would need to win their last. So Secret has 2 series after this, right? And Execration has 1. Because there would be 4 draws for Execration and it would be 3 draws for Secret, I believe.
Right.
So there's definitely more space for Secret.
Here's the timing you were talking about. Blink Dagger on Nico. There's the Inkswell combination. They find the Magnus. That's going to be a nice easy kill for them with the Infest Bomb into the tier 1 tower. I mean, this is the kind of stuff you're talking about. And in terms of like cooldowns, you didn't really have to use anything crazy, right? No. Doom is still up. Bristleback's ult is still up in case you were wondering. SyndereN, very important.
Yes.
Why does it even have a dot at the top, actually?
Well, it's just to show that you have it skilled, right?
I guess, true.
So Grim is closing in now on level 6. I really want to see him skill Soulbind on 6. In most games on Grim in Pro Dota, you actually don't do that. Just because at the time in the game that happens, it's rare that you find fights where Soulbind has really high impact versus having that little bit of extra stroke of fate damage to push waves, or having more points in Inkswell for more reliable stuns when you play low cooldown lineups. But in this game, it just feels like a necessity.
Matu again with the Wukong's command, Boundless Strike to open it up on top of the quad. They just have all the easy setup to take out a Bristleback, who just isn't that tanky yet. He has a Vanguard, and that's pretty much it. As Palos has to use Rage, and looks like that'll be enough to get away. Although Matu's continuing to chase. He finds Palos now. I believe Zai's coming in from underneath as well. And there's, RP. Looks like the Phantom's Embrace is going to stop that for now, but they might not even need it. Palos continuing to armlet toggle as they find the line on the backside. He's going to be found. RP perfectly timed, and Zai and company continue to snowball this game.
I like Matu's build of going Echo Saber. I thought he was going to rush Diffusal, but the Echo Saber has paid off big time, and he's not even getting Diffusal, as a matter of fact. Now he's just going S and Y. Feels like he doesn't need the Diffusal in this game. I mean, at this point, he can probably buy whatever he wants as long as it works on the hero.
He could buy an Aether Lens, probably be okay, right?
Would not recommend that one.
Well, they're going to get
At least it built into Octarine now, so, you know, it's...
I mean, if you go for the Tree Dance build, you can just jump, like, the Shard makes it even easier.
Yep.
You know, one day. One day.
An actual monkey build, just jumping from tree to tree, and that's all you do.
That's what he was built for, right? They're just making the slow transition. As we see some TPs, I believe that's going to be a smoke from Execration in all likelihood, as they have basically everything up. Like you said, Soulbind's still not skilled here for Grimstroke.
This play needs to work for them.
For sure.
If this play fails, they are almost out of it. Did he actually not skill? Oh, he did skill it. Okay, he got Soulbind just now. He got level 6. So
very nice.
I think the ideal way you do this is you...
It's actually inside Grimstroke. Interesting.
It's kind of challenging because you have to try to find 2 heroes close by. I think the Soulbind is a necessity to win the fight. So maybe what you can do is you can either bait the Bristle, get him jumped, and then find the Soulbind combo, or you have to sacrifice the Lion to get the fight started and he has buyback. Like, one of those 2 options are probably your best shot. But the play has failed, they've retreated, and Secret realized that they have just made a move that didn't succeed, so they're going to make their own.
Yep, they have the counter smoke coming as Yapzor.
Good play from
Smoke
Yowie
does
here.
Pop, and they're focusing on the Lion to start with. He's going to be a very, very fast kill. And I'm sure they're just looking for enough. Oh, imbalance right. There's a buyback onto the Lion. A lot of minus armor onto Yowie now as the Monkey King ult comes out, and again, he's so squishy.
This is no longer possible.
Yes, they've killed basically their whole team. They can roach whenever they want, and well, BDZ is just going to stand here, resigned to his fate. Understandable. An ultra kill for Nisha. That's a dieback on Lion.
Great skewer from Zai as well. Hey, it's just so hard, but you have to try for it, right? I think, again, this is the first fight that Execration took where I really think that it was the best choice they had. There's a couple of moments earlier in the game where I feel like it wasn't the best choice, like BDC's death's bottom, the Doom going back down to bottom to die again. They've just given Secret so many advantages before, and now they're making the correct move, but it's just mounted against them. It kind of started in a way that made me hopeful for them, because Bristle broke the smoke, he got spotted, they do have a bit of information from their vision, but they just didn't get an opportunity for a 2-man Soulbind into Doom. Secret with a good positioning, and Zai with a great skewer. Just made it super easy.
For Bristleback, there's just a threshold of items that you need before you can really feel online. And I mean, this Secret is just playing way too fast. He just hasn't enough time to farm yet. It's just a Sage and a Vanguard right now.
Yeah.
Radiant's bottom tower
but the Aegis is now on Mr. Matu, as he continues to farm. So he has the Echo Saber, Orb of Corrosion. Will be going for the full SNY this time into a Desolator, it looks like. I don't know if he's going to change his mind there. Maybe just wants to get this game over with as fast as possible with the minus armor to buildings.
What the hell was
Nico
that?
initiated and then ran away, perhaps scared that somebody was close by.
I mean, he blink stomped the Ench and then he got the hell out of there. That was like, I don't think there was a play.
Yeah.
Puppy, by the way, rocking the massive healing build. He has Mech and Holy Locket.
Oh,
so
very nice.
And maxed out Nature's Attendance. So his healing, if he doesn't get killed...
Wait, you need Shard, though, to cap it all off. That's the extra 3 wisps that just follow you everywhere.
I forgot what her Shard does.
Yeah.
Is it 3?
I've definitely never seen it before, actually. It's, I don't know, maybe it's okay.
Yeah. He's actually queued it up, you're right.
Hell yeah.
Like, how much healing can I do? So
hell yeah.
That's obviously a really good build against Doom and Bristle.
That's true.
These heroes do damage over time, but Enchantress can mitigate a lot of that with this build. And since Puppy probably feels like if they go on me, my team gets a free fight. If they don't go on me, I'm literally going to run next to the core that gets doomed and just heal them for as much as possible. And Matu can heal himself as well by just attacking, because obviously the Jingu Master will not be broken by anything. So I actually really, really like this build from Ench this game. I'm not going to say it's super rare to see Ench go Mech Locket, but
Shard is rare.
Like the shard is rare, and in this game there's just so much added benefit to.
Oh, looks like he bought
route.
something. He wasted a lot of gold now that could have been used to invest in 1 minute and 30 seconds.
He bought a cloak.
Unbelievable. That is unacceptable, Puppy. I'm gonna have to scold him. Oh, actually, I would never talk down to Puppy. It's too scary.
Pretty hard to talk down to him.
He's huge. Well, if he's sitting down and you're standing up, you're basically eye level. So even that is a tough one. But yeah, pretty cool. I mean, like, if this, let's just assume as, well, we're going to see Lion get dropped here.
Doom.
All right, Doom onto Puck. He's pretty fast, and there's some Puppy healing coming in from the side as well. BDZ did, in fact, use the finger, and the mech is going to keep him alive even longer. Skewer away. Nico.
Look at that healing.
Yeah, he's just not taking any damage, it feels like. And, I mean, this is kind of what happens when you're at this sort of a deficit. You just don't do damage. I mean, it's a level 1 Doom still.
Yeah. That was a nice showcase of the Locket mech against it, though.
Oh, Snapfire ult with the Boundless Strike. And that looks to be probably enough. As Yaoi just one more right click for Matu. No, make it 2. He actually missed there. All right, he's going deep. Rethinking life decisions here, but if they can get this kill, this would be huge. Problem is, they've used Doom. He's dead. Bristle's super low.
Yapsar missed a lot of kisses there. Don't know if he's an experienced kisser.
I'm not going to touch that one, SyndereN, but I appreciate the attempted alley-oop. I'll just let that go out of bounds.
Okay.
Okay?
All right.
Just sail away, sail away. As now, what is Palace working on? So he's still working on the Deso. Has the Sange, of course, which we've been seeing still despite the nerfs. Yeah, he's getting initiated on again, and even the RPUs, that will ensure the kill again from Matu. And they're going to find somebody else. Oh, the Bristleback wants to play. Yowie. He has the casual Sange. I don't think it'll save him this time around. Minus armor applied, and that is a double kill for Matu. As we are, it is the 20-minute points, and the most exciting part about this game is whether Puppy will get that shard or not. Very exciting stuff.
Nice skewer.
300 away, and nice skewer, triple kill. This is the slowest kill streak ever. And this is going to be, at the very least, a set of mid-racks. I mean, 30-4, not remotely. This is probably a bigger stomp than last game. I
was going to ask which game do you think was most one-sided, and I kind of feel like, yeah, this was a bigger stomp. Last game was 33 minutes, by the way, for Execration.
Yeah.
But Secret with the 21-minute barracks, absolutely destroying all 3 lanes. Oh, well, they did destroy top, in fairness, but they held their own.
Yeah, I mean,
they destroyed the other 2 lanes harder than the sum of the 3 lanes last game.
All right, Aegis has expired, and Secret's going to respect this.
We're going to take
a Lincoln Sphere. Very nice, just for that Doom.
Nice, so farmland puck.
I mean, he knows that he's not going to get any item like a halberd or anything like that to break the Lincolns because he's just so poor right now. Nisha trying to bait this out. He's going to get hoof stomp though. Then they actually popped the Lincolns. It wasn't a surprise at all. This might be a very valuable kill for Execration, and they'll find it with the Finger of Death, in fact.
I get it on Lion. Does he get dagger from that? Almost. 100 gold.
All right, almost.
All right, this is the start of the comeback.
Wait, is that Puppy Shard? I believe those are 3 wisps. Hell yeah. All right, is he killable? As Matu gets a kill, not important. We're focusing on Enchantress right now.
Just soloing the Doom casually up here. He's going to get BKB in. Oh, wait, that's the Doom. When is Matu getting? He's getting. Is that Deso? Oh, he's only queued up. Yeah, it's Deso.
It was, yeah, he was working on it. I don't know if he changed. But.
He didn't. He has it now.
All right, so Orbital Corrosion and Deso, SNY, Echo Saber. Yeah, he takes buildings fast.
And Empower. He hits so hard.
This is true. I mean, if this was a normal game where you're, like, let's say it was relatively even, how much would the build change here? Like, I'm assuming Ags would be something you pick up on Monkey King. It feels fairly standard.
Scotty is very good against both Lifesteal and Bristle,
yep,
so I think that's something you could have considered. And maybe if the early game didn't snowball this hard, he might have considered the Diffusal, right? Because I still think that would have been good. But at this point, you wouldn't buy it anymore. I'm leaning Scotty, probably. And you don't, I don't know if you want BKB even in this game. Like, it doesn't counter the Doom. It's good against Lion and Grim, but I don't actually think you're going to die as long as you've got a lot of stats and an Enchantress covering you, and your team playing around you.
Yeah, I noticed Enchantress, you can't see what the HP regen is with those 3 wisps. It just shows her normal base regen.
True. Maybe they don't even work.
It could be a bug. No one's ever bought it before.
Exactly.
In the history of Dota,
they haven't tested it.
Yeah, this is a beta test for Valve if they're watching. Is Nisha going to be able to take out a courier there? And Nisha's actually building a Dagon. Always nice to see. It's actually not even that troll even item. Like if Puck's having a pretty good game, I think it's, I wouldn't say it's standard, but it's not super uncommon either.
Oh, Nico.
Yeah, Boundless Strike. Man, Matu does so much damage. I guess that's 15k net.
Yay!
Yeah. The celebratory kisses from Yapsor.
He's spitting on them. I love how happy Mortimer looks when he uses all. It's like, my turn. Yay.
I mean, he's getting rid of a lot of disgusting liquids from inside him. I've been there before. That's something that would feel really good for sure. As I think Secret's probably going to wait for the second Roche, I would assume, if they're playing super disciplined. I mean, they don't need to, but I mean, we'll see.
Yeah, we're going to get the respawn timer for us in 2 seconds. They obviously don't know that it is spawning in 126, so pretty much average.
Yeah.
Yeah, I reckon they're going to control the map until that, and then they're going to go for the killing blow. And Execration, the play is the same for me. It's been the same for 10 minutes. I think you still have to execute this combo, but compared to the combos they've had to pull off in the past games of this tournament, this one is very, very hard. Not only because they're behind, but also because meeting the conditions of landing a Soulbind with a Grimstroke with very limited farm and getting a double Doom and then getting other heroes on top is not an easy task. All right, they might find Zai.
Yeah, they get the hook stomp off.
That's something.
Yeah, they finally get one. No finger used.
They can buy back Outpost here if they want.
All right, tell me about the meta with line. You play a lot of line. Do you finger there just for the stacks, or are you saving it?
I think you save it. The stacks are relatively insignificant, especially you have one stack, right? Like, what's it going to do? Stacks get interesting.
I mean, you get the HP talent potentially, right?
Right, but you're level 9 minute 25, so
yeah, that's true.
I think it's better to save it for the potential.
Loyal to the silence. He's not able to get to his invest off. He has to buy back into the game. Inkswell does connect as Doom just trying to trot away here. BKB'd right now. Actually gets doomed himself. I believe it was a Lotus Orb Reflect or something like that, as we have the Doom still applied to Matu in the meantime, but he's fine just right-clicking as Zai has come to the rescue with the RP, and they die back on the Lifestealer, and that's just GG.
Damn.
Yeah, the Lotus Reflect was pretty clutch, although not really.
You know, what's pretty cool about this series is when you combine the KDs from both games, it was really even. I think Execration won by about this score as well.
Yeah.
It wasn't far off,
it was about 10 minutes longer, though.
So, draw is a fair result.
I mean, I'm not going to lie. In a two-game series, it's not often you get 2 stomps, and each team has one of them. Right? Typically, it's like one team just overmatches the other.
Right.
Like, this is kind of weird territory, I feel like.
I think the most common one where there is a stomp in a 2-0 is that the first game is relatively close, and then the team that won the first game just runs with second game. Like, momentum, have a good idea of what they want to do and do better in game 2. But this time around, Secret just... If this was a best of 3, I would be really curious to see game 3. Like,
yeah, I mean, the more draws we see, the more likely we're going to get tiebreakers, which would be pretty high, because I believe the tiebreaker is just a best of 1 between the teams that... I could just be making that up, but I'm pretty sure that's accurate.
Imagine a 5-way tie for second. Is that even possible? It might still be possible.
I mean, there were a lot of draws yesterday.
Yeah.
Like, there were a lot. I think most of our predictions are in shambles, because...
Yep, I think so too.
Because you're a robot. You go for the draws more often, right?
I think OD went for draws on every game yesterday. I think he had the best prediction score out of all of us. He just put draw on everything.
Wow.
Sometimes the meme answer is the right.
Yeah, I guess so.
Memeing is successful in a lot of areas of life. Make sure you...
Again, let's just wrap up this game. Execration got completely stomped this game. What was different? What was the main thing that was different?
Secret had the dominant lanes. It was similar to game 1 just for the other team. So Secret got ahead in 2 lanes very clearly, especially the bottom lane was an absolute beatdown. And Execration just couldn't really find moves because their lane that needed the daggers was the one that lost.
Right.
So all the tempo was just delayed by 10 minutes, and Secret just took the whole map. Okay,
well, Execration, yet another draw. Secret, yet another draw. Let's see what the panel has to say about yet another draw.
It's a draw.
Draws on draws on draws. We just got to witness another draws get dropped, and now let's actually talk about just how weird that series really is. It's not very often that you see such a dominant game 1 into a dominant game 2 for opposite teams, but the story was very much the same. And it's funny because you called it before we even saw the draft for that second game. You're like, I can see this being another stomp, but this time in favor of Secret. and just basically running the game back, but favoring the other team. What made you call that?
It's just that both teams are so momentum based off the lanes. We saw, I didn't know going into this series how fast Execration could play with a lead, but they proved it in game 1, and then I'd seen Secret throughout the course of literally ever.
Yeah.
That's just how they play. They like get that early advantage and they just run at you.
That being said, I didn't think that either of the drafts were like that dramatically one-sided the way or the other. It was just like after 5 minutes, it was a foregone conclusion, but I could have seen like the lanes being played out a little bit more evenly in both of the games, and it just didn't happen.
Game 1, it surprised me a lot.
Yeah.
Game 2, that is an unlaneable lane for Doom. Because I think they got a little bit baited by the Lion pick, because Secret third pick Puck, and they're like, okay, we need to pick a disable for this. Makes sense, pick Lion. But Secret already had Enchantress. And Lion against Enchantress in lane is a yikes. So now you have the really unfavorable support to support matchup, and you've also blind picked your core, and they hard countered that core in the lane.
Monkey King.
Monkey King against Doom's quite a good lane for Monkey King. So the fact that both roles are so much stronger on one side, you can't even enter the lane anymore. Like Enchantress Monkey King, I remember back when Monkey King was really strong 6 months ago, if you had to play off lane and you were against Enchantress Monkey King, you literally just wanted to end it. It was the worst.
Is there any way that they could have sent like Bristle to the offlane and send Doom mid instead or something?
They could have done that.
Okay.
They could have considered, because then you have the creep cutting option.
Yeah.
But maybe that's just not in their wheelhouse. I don't know.
I didn't see much of it in Southeast Asian DPC, and I know Europe is usually a little bit more willing to, once they see a lane matchup that they're like, let's just like sacrifice what we were going for to make sure we don't get slaughtered in the lanes. Southeast Asia is usually like,
this is what
we'll
we
figure
picked.
it out.
Let's roll with it.
Yeah. And so maybe a lack of adaptability was their downfall in this game number 2.
Yeah, maybe a lack of adaptability, but also we're talking about how unfamiliar for a lot of these squads that cross-regional play is going to be. They're getting a taste of it now, and we're going to get a full course meal of it throughout the entirety of this AniMajor. I'm thinking about stakes, though. I'm thinking about who's actually going to be moving forward in this tournament, what the two teams that we need to be paying attention to are. And now that we got the draw, if you're a fan of either of these squads, you're feeling a little bit better at the very least, especially after that first game if you're a Secret fan. Because if they got a loss here, it would have been pretty bad if you're a Secret fan. Now that they have this victory, there is still some leeway. There is some possibility to maybe get in a tiebreaker, to maybe start pulling down a more convincing win. But we're running out of time here, and I'm curious, if we could look at the standings right now, that would be fantastic. I'm not sure what production does have queued up for us now, but if we can look at the standings, that would be great. So we can start to try to figure out what really we are going to be dealing with some of these teams, Neil, and try to figure out who we think is going to make it through after today.
Yeah, meanwhile, Stream A is dealing with Vici versus Gambit, and that is looking like it might be a draw again. Last time we left, it was
crazy.
Everyone is. I'm curious, even if this was 3-game series, that like you have to have someone winning, but I would imagine that all the series are still going to be split unevenly. Like Gambit may beat one Chinese team, lose to the other one. Europe may beat Execration in one game and then lose to the other one.
Yeah, I mean, with a lot of these series, I mean, look how ridiculous the series we just watched was. I mean, who do you think wins game number 3?
Yeah.
Like, right? Like, okay. Absolutely no idea which way it would go, which starts to bring up really big questions about once we actually get to the group stages, what's it going to feel like? Is it going to be similar to this? Is it going to feel different? I'm very excited because we've seen high quality Dota out of all of these teams, and once we throw them back in, the two teams that we get, once we throw them back into the groups, I think it's going to be pretty exciting to watch.
Yeah, especially because I guess the regional differentiation may be a little bit more well-rounded because Southeast Asia will have 2 teams there, Eastern Europe will have 2 teams with Spirit, and Europe, I guess, depending on how this thing pans out, may still only have 2 teams. But if they have the wild card go through, Nigma makes it through, then there'll be 3 European teams. So a little bit more regional flavor incorporated in, but at least North America will be kicking it then.
Yeah, I can't wait for group stage. I think, like wild card has been super exciting so far, but I think watching EG, Liquid, like teams that for EG's sake, they're just not used to being there. For Liquid, they got to make it to, I think, top 6.
We finally get to see Beast Coast on land.
Beast Coast, dude.
I was waiting for Singapore, didn't pan out, and now
My only issue with this wild card is they only got 4 of the regions here.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll give that an ASA bias, man. I want to see that. I want to see that representation. This is an international tournament. I've seen enough China on China Dota. I've seen enough EU on EU Dota. I want to see some interregional play.
We're getting it. We're getting there.
Still good games.
Yeah, great games, and we're setting the stage for exactly what you want to see, right? I mean, once we do get through to the bracket, we're going to be able to get some of that action, start to see more and more of this cross-region play. But we'll take a look at some of the key moments here from the last game and start to figure out when Secret really did grab that steering wheel and just drove that beautiful, beautiful car straight to success.
Yeah, the problem with that last pick, Bristle, was when I was propping up the Lifestealer pick, I said you want that partner in crime that kind of just runs into the fight with you. You then kind of picked a third hero that also runs into the fight, and thus you have a very one-dimensional execution game plan, which oftentimes leaves you incredibly vulnerable to that perfect last pick. And I do think the Monkey King is such a good punish, because the only way to kill Monkey King is to commit, with their lineup, is to commit 3 or 4 heroes within melee range of the Monkey King. And that's just exactly what Monkey King thrives in, so.
Yeah, it's Doom, Bristle, and Lifestealer all walking forward. There are no blink daggers that you see very early on that would change the angle of
approach.
There's
no kiting either.
There's no kiting.
Yeah.
You're in the fight. You're going to stay in the fight. You better hope that you get some kills, because there's no way you're getting out of that fight.
Like, look at what Matu did that entire fight. I'm pretty sure he just A-clicked and then took a sip of water in the middle of that.
Just got a chance to relax, and we're actually going to get a slight chance to relax because Slacks is going to be doing the heavy lifting right now. He is going to be giving us an interview with the winners. Slacks, who do you have for us?
Thank you so much, Rich. Hello, hello. It is time for another COVID-safe interview with the one and only Puppy. Puppy, hello. How are you?
Hi.
Thank you. Puppy, fantastic games here. Up against Execration. They kind of give you guys a run for your money. I mean, obviously, everyone considers you the best team in the world. First question, is it weird to ever lose? And second question, what do you think about Execration?
I think Execration is a really good team. And sometimes you have to lose in order to learn. So it just happens from time to time.
Fantastic. Thank you, Puppy. Hoodwinked. What a hero. Not a lot of other people playing it. I feel like you have to have some real gusto, some bravery to pick that hero. What do you think about Hoodwinked? Are we going to see some more? Are we going to see some secret copycats?